What's up, y'all? Welcome back to TRU88Podcast with your host, True Car. Today I wanted to talk about forgiveness. Today I wanted to talk about how it's important to forgive people, and it's important to understand what it does for you It's important to understand what it does for you, because I think a lot of the times people don't want to forgive because in a sense they feel like if they forgive they would let that person back in, or they would put their guards down around them and they would be unprotected in some type of way, because a lot of the times people feel like they have to be angry and hold on to a grudge in order to protect themselves, or in order for them to be done with a situation. And I think that stems from self-worth. It stems from a place of not understanding that whether you are mad or not, or whether somebody just brutally hurts you or not, if something hurts you, you are valid. If something is painful, you are valid to feel how you feel, even if to other people it may not be such a big deal. Because I think it stems from childhood, to where it's like, whether it be your parents or your siblings or other adults around, or whatever the case may be, them invalidating your feelings of, oh, you need to just get back cool with that person, or oh, you just need to reconnect to that person because they're family, even though they hurt you. And I think it's important to understand that your feelings are valid, and whether people understand them or not, I think it's important to be a safe space for yourself to nurture your own emotions and to nurture your own feelings. Because I think in order to forgive somebody, you have to feel through your feelings, or you are going to re-invite those people back into your life anyways. Because anger and resentment is just something that is a feeling at the end of the day that is not genuinely going to protect you. Because if you just feel anger and resentment and that is your protection, that person can come in anytime and smooth talk you, or whatever the case may be, and give you a fake apology, and boom, you're back together, and boom, you have more trauma and hurt that you now have to heal from, and you now have to feel. So I think it's important to understand, when it comes to forgiveness, it's about feeling your emotions and validating your emotions and nurturing your emotions, and allowing yourself to forgive yourself as well in those connections, for holding on for so long, or for allowing the disrespect, or for invalidating your own emotions. And I think it's important to understand that however you feel is valid. However you feel deserves to be nurtured by you. And I think it's important to understand, if you have to have a hard conversation with somebody, if it's truly affecting you, it's important to go to those people and have those conversations, or allow yourself to journal, or allow yourself to talk out loud. And if you need to backtrack, or whatever the case may be, use your phone and talk out loud, and speak to your phone as if that was that person, or whatever the case may be, to get it out in a healthy way, for you to be able to genuinely get it out. And sometimes you have to get it out by yelling, going to a place that it's only you, and you yell out loud, or you go to one of those places that you're able to hit something, like it's a place that I think you can use a hammer or whatever tool you want to use and hit the things in a facility. I don't know exactly what it's called, but you can look that up and you can go to that place, or you can shadow box, or you can go to a boxing gym, or you can just go to a gym, or you can run, or you can, do activities to get it out of your body and out of your energy as well. And also, most importantly, feel it. Allow yourself to be in your body and in your essence, and feel through those emotions, and allow yourself to be angry. Allow yourself to cry and be sad. Allow yourself to understand that you deserve better. You know what I mean? And I think it's important to work on self-worth, and work on your identity around self-worth, and work on really seeing yourself, and not be afraid of what's on the other side of what you see about yourself, but embrace all sides of who you are. That way you're able to genuinely protect yourself, and you're not holding on to baggage or trauma or anger trying to protect yourself, but you're genuinely able to place boundaries to where you're able to protect yourself in a genuine space, to where it doesn't matter if those people come around or not, you're still protected. Even if those people do come around, it's not like you're holding on to a grudge. It's a space of clarity that you understand that it's something that you will never bring back into your life, and not out of a grudge, but out of respect for yourself, out of you understanding what you genuinely deserve, and out of you understanding that that person doesn't deserve another chance, because you understand what it takes to do a person how they did you, and you understand that you love yourself enough that you wouldn't do that to somebody else, or you wouldn't allow that to happen to you. And I think it's important to understand that, to not judge yourself for how you allowed them to treat you, but also take note and observe. That way you're able to nurture your emotions, and you're able to genuinely shift and change into a dynamic within yourself that understands, from this point on, you know what you deserve, and you're not accepting or allowing anything less than that. And I think that's important to understand your own value and see your own value, and forgive yourself for not seeing it at first. Because I think the biggest part of forgiveness is to forgive yourself, is to let that load off of yourself and that judgment off of yourself for allowing whatever happened to you to happen to you, or understanding that it was never about you, understanding that it was never your fault. It had a lot to do with who that person was, and what that person was dealing with. And I think that's important to understand in any situation, in any dynamic. It was never about you. If anything, if it is something about you, it was just for you to be able to start to see your own worth, and be able to understand what you genuinely deserve, and be able to give that to yourself, and also place boundaries and an understanding within yourself on how to cultivate that into other relationships as well, and not just internally, but creating that space, that safe space for yourself outside of yourself too, outside of yourself as well, so that you are safe for yourself in your relationships, in your connections, in your environment is something safe for you as well. So I think it's important to understand that when it comes to forgiveness, because when you genuinely forgive somebody, you automatically create a safe space within yourself of trust. Being able to trust yourself in a space of, I'm not even mad at this person, I'm not even angry with this person. It's just an understanding of me knowing how to protect my space, me knowing how to protect my peace, me knowing how to protect my energy and my emotional stability. And I think that's important to understand. All of that forgiveness that you give to others places in you a safe space for you to understand that you're able to protect yourself, and places in you a safe space to understand that you have true peace. Because with peace comes clarity. When you feel heavy anger, when you feel all of those different emotions and resentment, it clouds your mind to truly see yourself, to truly see the people that are right for you, the people that will give you love, the people that will give you what you deserve. It clouds your mind even from what is important to you, whether that be a relationship with yourself, whether that be your connection with your intuition about how to move within your life, whether that be it. When you forgive, it opens up different spaces for you, whether that be financially, emotionally, physically. It opens up more for you to have clarity over, because when you hold on to that resentment and that anger, it puts a cloud over you. It puts a cloud over your heart. It's not even hurting them, it's hurting you, and it's only hurting you because you're putting this shield up that is not going to protect you. Is going to keep out what's genuinely for you. And it's going to keep you in a space of misery and hurt and pain that nobody is feeling but you. Or the people that are feeling it are the people that genuinely love you and genuinely want to be there for you. So I think it's important to understand that when it comes to forgiveness, but most importantly, when it comes to forgiveness, you cannot just jump from hurt and pain and resentment to forgiveness. You have to feel those emotions. You have to feel those emotions first. You have to get through it in order to get to it. And I think that's important to understand. You have to get through it in order to get to it. And I think that is important to understand and embody within yourself, to genuinely feel what you feel and validate your own emotions. If nobody else is going to validate your emotions and see you or protect you, you have to be that protector for yourself. And you want to make sure that you're creating boundaries, not control mechanisms. And I think that's important to understand, because boundaries and control mechanisms are different. Boundaries is you understanding what you need and what you deserve, and you moving off of that and embodying that, or being able to speak up for yourself and not continuously saying the same thing over and over, but mean what you say and say what you mean. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to boundaries. Mean what you say and say what you mean. And don't try to control another person to be something that they are not. Allow them to show up as who they are. And if it's not something for you, then move around. Even if it's somebody as a family member, as a long time friendship, as a long time romantic partner, whatever the case may be, if it's not something for you, allow yourself to love people from afar. Know what protecting yourself means, and don't allow anybody to cross those boundaries of you protecting yourself, because that's important to understand and have self-respect, but also self-trust is saying what you mean and meaning what you say. When it comes to anything, when it comes to any dynamic, when it comes to your career, when it comes to love, when it comes to connections in general, saying what you mean and being what you saying what you mean and meaning what you say, and standing in that and standing in your truth, and also being honest with other people and honest with yourself, most importantly, because you can't give anything that you're not for yourself. So if you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with other people. If you can't trust yourself, you can't trust other people, and therefore those people cannot trust you either. And I think that's important to understand, because when it comes to not forgiving somebody, but when it comes to, saying you forgive somebody and accepting them back in your life, it creates elephants in the room, and it creates tension that, can't be so-called seen, but can be completely felt, and it can be seen as well, but it's something that is ignored. And I think it's important not to avoid or be in avoidance with what you feel in order to keep an illusion of peace in a connection that has already been burnt down to the ground, or that has already ran its course. Because I think it's important to understand that sometimes people are in your life for a season, and they are not in your life for the long haul or the long run. And I think it's important to know where to place people in that type of dynamic, in those dynamics in your life, so that you are not holding on to trauma bonds and pain and hurt in connections that break you down and feels like an imprisonment, even though you are free to go at any time. It's all about your perception and how you see it, and understanding that you will be okay whether those people are in your life or not. Because the most important connection is the connection with yourself. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to, forgiveness. Because when you don't forgive somebody, you are hurting you more than you are hurting them. More than you are hurting the person that did you wrong, or that hurt you, or that abused you, or that misused you, or that place you in a victimhood, place you in a space of being a victim. Because yes, you might have been a victim, but you don't have to stay a victim. You can take your power and your energy back from those people at any time, but you have to allow yourself to feel. You have to allow yourself to hurt. You have to allow yourself to cry. You have to allow yourself to hate them. You have to allow yourself to be angry with them, and allow yourself to be angry with yourself too. Because in order to genuinely heal and forgive those people and have peace within you, you can't be afraid of your emotions. You can't be afraid of feeling. And I promise you, if you feel your emotions and allow yourself to nurture your emotions and speak to yourself and understand and be the observer of your emotion and the observer of your thought processes, you will come out on the other side with peace and clarity. Clarity on where those people should be placed in your life, clarity on who you are as an individual, clarity on what you deserve, clarity on your self-worth, clarity on the situation altogether. And I think it's important to understand that when it comes to forgiving is great. But if you haven't genuinely forgiven those people, then you are still, like I said in the past video, Gandhi, he has a quote that says, I'm not going to say it verbatim because I don't exactly remember it in this moment, but I do remember basically, to sum it up, what it said. It basically said, if you have vengeance in your heart, then you might as well show those vengeance instead of cloaking yourself and acting as if you are not hurt or acting as if you are not angry. And for me, I feel like it's important to understand, if you have hurt in your heart, it's important to feel through that hurt. Whether that be you going to that person and letting them know how they made you feel, or you allowing yourself to deeply feel that anger, to deeply feel those emotions, to deeply feel that resentment, to deeply feel that sadness. Whatever it is that has happened to you, you have to deeply feel that in your center, in your heart, in your body, in order for you to genuinely transmute it and release it and let it go. That way, when you forgive, it's genuine forgiveness. It's genuinely no hate in your heart towards that person. It's just an understanding that they are not for you, and y'all are just not compatible, and they just don't deserve another chance. And that doesn't have to come with anger or resentment. That just comes with clarity and understanding your worth and understanding what you deserve. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to forgiveness. Forgiveness does not have to mean reconnection. If you're the only person that actually did the work on yourself, and you understand that that person is just going to attempt to pull you into a direction of a space that puts you in a space of feeling like you can't trust yourself, or push you in a space of not being able to show up for yourself or be authentically yourself, because you have to play tit for tat with this person, or you have to keep up a guard of anger around them in order to protect yourself. You want to make sure that you are able to be at peace and safe in connections. And if you cannot feel safe emotionally, mentally, physically around a person, those are not your people. And when I say safeness, I don't mean that people aren't going to get you out of your comfort zone or trigger you. But when it comes to triggering, when it comes to people that are meant to be in your life, the trigger is them seeing you for who you are and wanting you to be the best version of you, not the best version of what they want you to be, not the best version of them. They want you to be authentically you, They want you to shine in your essence. They want you to be the best that you can be. And when it comes to connections that are hurtful, that are draining, that are unsafe, that are toxic, those people want you to be who they want you to be. Those people want you to show up and mirror back to them who they are. They want to pull you down into depression and into anxiety. Those people want to trigger you in a way that breaks you down, not lifts you up. And I think that's important to understand. When it comes to safe, healthy connections, those people are the people that are able to speak the truth to you, but also nurture you as well. Those people are speaking from love, not hate, not envy, not control, but love. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to connections. Both connections are going to make you feel some type of uncomfortable, some type of way of being uncomfortable or triggered, but one of them is going to trigger you to grow into your essence, into your authentic purpose and self, and the other is going to trigger you to bring you down and hurt you and wound you and break you down to where they don't want you to see yourself. And I think that is important to understand, and it's important to understand when it comes to forgiveness. You can't keep going back and thinking that you are releasing genuinely from a heart space. Not even, because yes, you can forgive and you can genuinely release. But when you go back, now you put yourself in a space of where you can't trust yourself even more. And that puts you in a space of being disconnected from yourself and puts you in a space of also codependency, of wanting them to do the work for you, for your healing, wanting them to save you when they can't save you because it was never a safe space to be saved in the first place. And I think that's important to understand when it comes to forgiveness and dynamics and connections. You have to allow yourself to walk away and seek clarity and understanding within yourself to understand, are those people really for you? And like I said, in a dynamic where somebody is really for you, they want you to be your authentic self. They want you to feel safe. They don't want you to feel cluttered and insane and all over the place and emotionally unstable. And I think that's important to understand. But I also think it's important to understand to forgive those people. But like I said, in order to forgive those people, you have to feel your emotions. You have to allow yourself to forgive yourself for not seeing yourself and seeing your own worth. And also be in a space of just being the observer and not judgmental. And allowing yourself to let go of lack mentalities and thought processes that those people may have put on you and you may have internalized because you held them to such a high regard and you held their word to such a high regard, so you internalized it. It's important to empty all of that out of your energy and allow yourself to break down everything subconsciously to understand what's for you and what's not for you, to understand the thought processes that you have in order to genuinely release and let go and forgive and step into your authentic self of love and genuine forgiveness, and not allow those two words to just be words, but genuinely feel those words. Being able to genuinely feel those words of love, self-love, love for others, embodying love, being able to genuinely feel forgiveness and embodying forgiveness and not just saying the words, and I think that's important to understand. But if y'all like this podcast, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure if you're watching me on YouTube that you go over to my Spotify and follow me on there. And it's Truth, TRU88 on Spotify. And if you're listening to me on my Spotify, make sure that you go over to my YouTube and follow me on there, subscribe, turn your post notifications on and things of that nature. But yeah, this is Truth Podcast with your host, True Car.